We've heard a lot about seminars to help ladies deal with life's challenges, but what about the men? Well, here's a reminder that the annual No Excuses Men's Conference is just around the corner with the mission of changing men's lives one zone at a time. So joining us for today's Family First Focus is Dr. Tony Evans from Oak Cliff Bible Fellowship Church. Welcome, Dr. Evans.
Good to be with you, Rob. Delighted to be here.
So this conference has been working to help men change their lives for the past 5 years.
Yes.
What is the focus of this year's conference?
Well, it's called Life in the Red Zone. And the red zone, of course, in football is the 20-yard line to the goal line.
That last 20 yards.
That last 20 yards. But that's where the going gets tough. That's where the opposition is the greatest, but that's where you determine to reach your goal. We want men to reach their goal in spite of the things that are coming up against us, the challenges that we face. We want them to press on. So we're going to challenge men to be all that they were created to be, and it's going to be a blast.
It's got an impressive lineup of speakers. A lot of folks here. You mentioned, of course, the sports tie-ins. There's coaches, Tony Dungy and Bill McCartney are going to be there.
Absolutely. We always carry a sports theme because, men gravitate to that, but with a spiritual edge, and I do mean edge. So these men are going to be challenged in the area of their family life, their sexuality, their health, their finances. There's even a segment for your teenage sons, so you can bring your sons with you. And it's going to be a blast. Lunch is provided, so it's going to be a great, great time for men to become the men that God created us to be.
Well, I wonder, are people surprised when they come for the first time? Because this is not soft pedaling. This is going straight to the core of some very real issues and calling people out.
This is in your face. I mean, if you're going to play football, you got to man up, and you can't be, just out there being casual. So this is not a casual conference. This is an in-your-face conference, and we're even going to have a drop-in by President George Bush. So he's going to pop into the conference as well. So all the wives and girlfriends, get your man to the No More Excuses Conference, July 10th. One day, but it'll be a life-changing day.
All right, some of the other topics you talked about. I know you're going to be dealing with the economy right now and how to deal with that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There really are answers. They're divinely inspired answers for how a man manages his family financially, even during tough times. So we're going to have some in-your-face kind of discussions about that so that we don't succumb to the circumstances that we find ourselves in.
Well, tell me again, you mentioned the teen focus. What do you have for the young folks?
Well, what we're wanting what we're wanting young men to do is to decide to be a man on the front end, because it's a lot easier to get it straight up front than to try to repair it later. And if we can get young men on the right track early, we can stop a lot of the chaos that we're finding in our families and teenage pregnancies and irresponsibility and jail and a whole bunch of other things that are coming because young men are not being grounded. And just to see hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of men gathered is inspiration just on its own.
Yeah, I know you're also going to talk to fathers of those teens about how they need to be strong role models.
Absolutely. One of the greatest issues in our culture is the issue of fathering. Absentee fathering or irresponsible fathering or not knowing how to father. So we're going to talk about that in our family time. How do you raise a son to be a man? How do you become the man that your son wants to emulate?
All right, so is this an expensive conference if someone is motivated and wants to be a part?
No, it's $35. It includes your lunch. It's all day. For less than the cost of a movie and a meal, you can have a life-transforming day. And we want all the men in the Metroplex, regardless of race, color, creed, class, to be there on July 10th. It's going to be a blast.
For folks of all walks of life.
All walks of life.
All right. Well, we appreciate you coming in and letting us know it is coming. And we want to remind everybody that the 5th annual No Excuses Men's Conference takes place next month, Saturday, July 10th. You can pre-register or get more details at 214-672-9100 or use extension 2501 for that. Or you can just visit them at ocbfchurch.org.